And we've been talking about what we call the motivational gifts out of Romans 12. We won't be looking at this point at 1 Corinthians 12, which is the manifestation of the Spirit gifts. And we won't be looking at Ephesians 4, which is the equipping gifts. We'll be looking at Romans 12. And you remember the first one we looked at was the receiver or prophetic gifting. Anyone remember the message that came out of that week? What was the message that we looked at? What was the lesson? This is always discouraging. I can't remember 2 days ago, let alone 2 weeks ago. What was the message from that week? It was good, yes. It was a good word. Thank you. What do we see? What do we hear? What do we say? Okay, that was the challenge. What are we seeing? What are we hearing? And out of that, what do we say? That was the message of the prophetic gifting. Last week, we looked at the server and the teacher. And what was the message from that? Was it about washing souls? Washing souls, which meant your feet, and then your mind, your heart, your will, washing through God's Word, washing us and preparing us to serve people, to enable people to serve Him, to be cleansed in our mind, in order that we can be renewed, in order that we can serve. Okay. How do you get this memory thing going a little better, okay? So today, the message comes from Luke chapter 6, and we're going to read this together. Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be the measure to you. Okay. What's the message for today? We are called to give. And we're looking at 2 giftings, the giver and the exhorter. And out of that, the message is, the more we give, the more we receive, the more we give, the more we receive, and so on. Okay? So the characteristics of the exhorter. Now, I used to think that this gifting was about being the rah-rah, life and soul of the party, hype everybody up kind of thing. In fact, there's a lot more than that. We're going to be looking at a chap called Barnabas. Anyone remember what that word means? What does Barnabas mean? The son of encouragement. How do we need to it? So anyone watching the screen probably knows the answer as I ask. Okay. The son of encouragement. Encourage. We are there to give courage, to give encouragement to people. And that's what Barnabas did. And the question to us today is, what are we giving? Are we giving encouragement? Are we giving courage to people? Or are we discouraging people? Okay. Looking at Barnabas in Acts chapter 11. And this is when the church in Antioch, and Barnabas went down there and we're there, Barbara? Acts 11. See one? Okay. So I started there, that's where we got the son of encouragement. Joseph? Oh, okay, don't worry. Shift on. There we go. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Barnabas went down there. This is what it says in verse 23. That Barnabas, news of this reached the ears of the church in Jerusalem. They sent Barnabas to Antioch. When he arrived and saw evidence of the grace of God, he saw grace. And the person who is an exhorter and an encourager sees through the eyes of grace. Grace means God's unmerited favor. He sees through God's eyes as to what God is doing in the midst of people. And so what he sees is beyond the flaws, beyond the failures, he looks at the people's heart and he sees what they could become. And so he sees God at work achieving progress and building up people to who they're meant to be. Question, what do we see from the people? The prophetic gifting, what does the prophetic person normally see?
future. He often sees the problem. Now that's okay, but the exhorter sees beyond the problem to the solution. The exhorter is an encourager who's able to see beyond the flaws and the problems and the failures to see what God is doing, the evidence of grace. Second thing, he gives courage. We are courage, by the way. Sorry. There we go. Verse 23 says this. When Uriah saw evidence of God, he was glad and encouraged them to remain true to the Lord with all their hearts. He's positive. There's that word possibility thinking, positive thinking, very much more than just hyping up your positivity. It's what God helps us to see, the positive and the progress in people's lives. He's able to build up, or she's able to build up people's faith, to build up their lives, to bring the best out of people. And so this is my question. What is your disposition? Are you glad? What's the opposite of glad? Sad. Are you glad or are you sad? What is your disposition? What do you bring out of people? Do you draw the best out of people? Or do you bring the worst out of people? Next, he shows fruit. He was a good man, it tells us. We can only bring out of other people what we have ourselves. We can only raise people up to the level that we are ourselves. An exhorter is a man or a woman of integrity who reflects the goodness of God's character. How do we reflect goodness? We need to have the goodness of God manifested through our life. In us, there's no good. We're sinful. We fall short of perfection. We fall short of standard. However, when God gets at work in our lives, He raises who we are up. And we become good because He is good and He lives in us. And so we begin to reflect His goodness. Barnabas was a good man. How was he good?